Students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a good week so far, staying healthy, staying strong. Welcome members. Hi, Jainiel. In this class, everyone, we are looking at a task 2 writing question. This was sent by one of our students. In Band 9, here we go. This will be a Band 9 sample essay. We will do the planning and the introduction today, get as far as possible. Bekjan, good to see you. Long time no see. Happy to have you in the class. Hope you're doing fantastic. Hi, Rashika. Hi, Rajveer. Nice to see all of you. Students, this lesson, as usual, is presented by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Please visit us there. We have the best discount of the year going right now. It's our Cyber Monday discount. Use the code CYBERDAY for a 40% discount. You can use that on our general IELTS website as well at IELTShelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. We are helping thousands of students each month improve their exam scores and reach their goals in studying and traveling abroad. This is our academic IELTS website here. You can click that big red button to join the premium package. It will bring you to the checkout form. You can click this big blue button here, use coupon code, and then use this Cyber Day for that 40% discount. It's a lifetime membership, so it's a good time to use that code. This is our General IELTS website here for General IELTS students. Same idea. Click that big red button and use this Cyber Day code there. Hi, Murat Khan. Nice to see you, Nick Hill. Hello, David. Welcome, members. This is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. There's lots of learning. I will have an all chat class coming up in 90 minutes, which will be a listening section practice for parts 1 and 2. David, good luck on your exam on Saturday. I hope that goes really well for you. Stay confident. You've prepared lots. Just do your best. Believe in yourself. Show up early. All of the strategies that we've discussed in our classes and on our websites, David. So do that. Okay, everyone, if you have questions, you can send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. Jainiel, I saw your question at the beginning of the class there. So Jainiel was asking for the thesis statement for the question there. Some people believe that the internet has reduced the need for studying facts in history and science. Jainiel, send me that question and I'll schedule the whole question for a future task too, okay? We'll work on the thesis today and maybe you'll realize how to do it. So send me that in an email, Jainiel, and I'll help you out. Okay, everyone, so right now, task 2, later today, listening. Tomorrow we'll have more task 2 from this class, a continuation, and then the 3rd and 4th parts of the listening. And then later in the week, we'll have some task 1 reading and more speaking as well. So lots of great classes coming up for you this week. We've got 1 extra class this week to make up for some lost time. Hi, Carolina. Hi, Joseph. All right. Okay, so this question that somebody sent, I can't remember who sent us this question, but this was actually their question for their exam that they had on November 10th. So this was an actual IELTS question from a few weeks ago. And it looks simple, but I think it is a bit challenging. We'll work through it together. First step, always read the question slowly, carefully, pay attention to each word and the grammar. Here we go, students. Let's take a look at this task 2. So, task 2, writing. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many people prefer to wear fashionable clothes. Discuss the positives and negatives of this trend. Write at least 250 words. Okay. It's an interesting question. It's very global in appearance. Okay. So, What's the topic here? So, well, actually, you know what? Before we get to the topic, that might be challenging at first. Let's do a little bit of paraphrasing. So, always paraphrase the question to get more clarity, even with a question that seems as simple as this, especially because it's going to be quite fast. Think of a way to paraphrase it. Now, this isn't your introduction, contrary to many people's belief. It's not your introduction to paraphrase. It just gives you some good ideas of the question, some clarity, and some vocabulary. So go ahead, Shaylee, Jaineel, David, Nikhil, Joseph, Ferdows, Carolina, paraphrase the question. So paraphrase the question in your own words. Restate this question. Let's make sure that all of us are on the same page. Okay. Okay. Elite Gamer, welcome. Yeah, I remember one of your responses from yesterday. So welcome to our group of members, Elite Gamer, and make sure to send me an email so I can hook you up with those videos and the exams. Okay. All right, so I see some paraphrasing, which is great. Let me take a look and make sure we're all on the same page. We're all interpreting this question with the right ideas. Carolina says millions of individuals dress up to the latest fashion trends. Debate the benefits and drawbacks of this. Okay, Carolina, that's good. Yeah, millions of people dress up in the latest fashion trends, I think is the best way. David says many individuals around the world opt to use modern and stylish pieces of clothing. Yeah, wear or dress are good words. So wear, dress, or clothe. Clothe can actually be used as a verb as well, David. You'll see that with my example. So what are the positives and negatives? Good. Rajveer says certain individuals opt for putting on. Yeah, Rajveer, putting on is another phrasal verb which means clothe or dress. Sure. Fashionable attire. Very nice use of synonyms, Rajveer. Attire instead of clothing. Very good. Explain the benefits and deficits of this phenomenon. Very nice. Okay, Begjan says a lot of individuals would rather put on stylish attire. Explain both the advantages and disadvantages of this trend. Begjan, Rajveer, really nice use of vocabulary. I like it. Okay, Shaylee says wearing fashionable clothes is very popular among people. Shaylee, really nice grammatical paraphrasing. So I see that you've kind of moved the grammar around, but yet you have the same information. Well done. Okay, that's nice. Murad Khan says, in recent years, many people opt to wear flamboyant clothing. This essay will demonstrate the two sides of the situation. Murad Khan, we do not write introductions like this. I know your essay will demonstrate it because that's what the question is asking. Don't write that. It's a weak way to write it, okay? Don't, Murad Khan, please learn the better way to write an introduction than this essay will demonstrate. It's just strange, students, to discuss what your essay will do. First of all, your essay isn't doing anything. You're doing it because you're the author. That's the first point. The second point is, when you are asked a question by an exam or by a professor, of course you're going to answer that question. So of course you will write about that, okay? It's really awkward to state that, okay? It's kind of like me saying, can you please make me a pasta dinner for tonight? And then you say something like, this oven will make you a pasta dinner for tonight. Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, I just asked you to make me a pasta dinner. It's your cooking exam, and now you're telling me that your oven is going to make me this pasta dinner. Well, I really hope so, otherwise you fail the exam. So you don't need to tell me that, okay? Don't waste your time with that kind of weak introduction, all right? This is for everybody who's watching this live stream, okay? All right? Lubna, most individuals choose to dress fashionably. Explain the negatives and positives of this trend. Lubna, that's really good word choice, okay? Most individuals choose to dress fashionably. Very nice use of word form, fashionably. By the way, flamboyantly has a little bit of a different meaning, okay? So flamboyantly has a bit of a different meaning. All right, so careful with that. Flamboyant is kind of like extravagant. If I have like a big red hat with a big feather sticking out of it and a giant collar, that would be a flamboyant kind of dress. Okay. All right. So here is my paraphrase. Millions of individuals enjoy clothing themselves in the latest trends. Explain the benefits and deficits of this fad. Okay. Fad means this kind of popular trend. I just didn't want to repeat trends because I have it here. So instead of fashion or fashionable, I used trends, okay? All right. So we have some good paraphrasing. That's nice. Now, we want to identify the topic and then the controlling idea. So the topic is what we're talking about. Okay, so what are we talking about? So if we read this question and then I ask you in a very professional or academic context, what are we talking about or what are we writing about? What's the best answer? Okay, Lubna says the topic is fashion clothing. I don't think so. I don't think that's the best way to interpret the topic. Rajveer says wearing fashionable clothes. I still don't think that's the best interpretation of the topic. Carolina says many people prefer to wear fashionable clothes. Again, I don't think that's quite the topic. Sometimes the topic is a little bit hidden. It's not actually verbally visible in the question itself. Okay, Elite Gamer, you're actually not far off. So Elite Gamer kind of has the closest answer. So Elite Gamer says preference of people's fashionable clothing. And I think Rajveer is the first one that has the perfect answer. So Rajveer says people's choices for clothing. That's what we're talking about. So people's choices for clothing. Yeah, very nicely done, Rajveer. Good job. That is the exact topic. That's what we're talking about, because here we're talking about people choosing fashionable clothes, but at the same time, we're also discussing when people don't choose fashionable clothes, right? How do I know that? Well, it's from the negatives and positives. So if I think about the overall question, then I realize that here we're talking about people's choice in clothing. Even fashion is subjective. Some people will say, wow, that's fashionable clothing, and other people will say, no, that's not fashionable clothing. So it's more just a choice of clothing. Does everybody see that now? So that this question is really talking about people's choice for clothing. Okay. All right. Now, what's the controlling idea? So now we'll separate out the topic from the controlling idea. Hopefully, most of you will get this now. The controlling idea is the and negatives of choosing to buy and wear the latest fashion. Okay. So that would be the controlling idea. Right? Does everybody see that? Okay. Yeah, Rajveer, you're on par with me. So topic, people's choices for clothing. Controlling idea, the benefits and negatives of choosing to buy and wear the latest fashions. Okay, everybody sees that, hopefully. Okay. All right. Okay, So now then, let's get into the what, why, hows. So these are the steps to writing a Band 9 essay. Band 9 essays are born from great critical thinking and, of course, a good use of language. You want to learn and practice these together, the same as what we do in these classes. Our members that have been with us for a while know this. So you can learn English and great communication at the same time, and that's what you should do, and that's what you need to do, especially for the academic IELTS, okay? But arguably for general IELTS as well. Okay, so then what is people's choice of clothing? Okay, so yeah, simple question. Hopefully you come up with some quick, clear answers for this one. So yeah, Rajveer says, what are people's choices for clothing? So what are they? What is the people's, and there's lots of different answers that you can write here, but what does it mean to say what is people's choice of clothing? So what is that? What is that? Yeah, Shaylee, very nice. So Shaylee says it's the choice of clothing according to an occasion and comfort that a person decides to wear. Yeah, so it's a selection. Let's not use contractions. So it is a selection of attire a person wears according to, well, let's just say a selection of attire a person wears. Okay, let's just keep it that, because the next question is why, right? So why do we choose that? So wears in a given context. Okay, so why do people choose to wear certain clothes? Okay, so that would be my next one. And now again, you don't have to write all the, obviously you shouldn't write all of these questions and answers down on your sheet when you're planning in the real IELTS. So in the real IELTS, remember, you have 40 minutes. So you don't need to write all this down. When you're practicing at home, yes, write down the questions and the answers, because you're practicing your English and you're training your thinking, okay? But in the IELTS, you need to be able to run these questions in your mind quickly, the questions and the answers, of course, right? So why do people choose to wear certain clothes? Okay, and I think, Shaylee, you actually answered a little bit of this, so you put the what and the why a little bit into one answer, and it's good to separate them, so it is good to keep your questions and answers separate. So Rajveer says, individuals desire to wear outfits which suit their personality. Yes, and Rajveer, or in other members, what other constraints? So what other reasons may we find why people wear certain types of clothes? So I think, Rajveer, you have part of it. Think outside the box, right? Bekjan says, because individuals' desires, personality, trend. Okay, so choices of clothing are based on personality, self-expression, trends, yeah, what's popular, what's in, what's out. Yeah, Ferdov says because of their status and their wealth. Absolutely, Ferdov. I mean, I would love to sport myself some nice Gucci shoes or some nice Louis Vuittons, but I may not necessarily be able to afford them, right? So social status. Okay. Budget, right? So how much you have to spend on clothes. Some people have thousands and thousands of dollars. Some people have hundreds of dollars, and some people may have less, right? So based on self-expression, trends, status, budget, comfort. That's right. Let's not forget about comfort. I love comfortable clothing. Okay. Very good. So those are definitely some of our constraints. So, and how? How do people make their choices? Okay. So let's move to the next question. Okay. So always these three: what, why, how. Run these questions through your mind 100 times during an IELTS exam. That is one of the most important strategies. It's critical thinking. You need to do it for all sections. So how do people make their choices? So Elite Gamer says through suggestions. Yeah. Okay, and be specific too. So don't just think of general concepts. Okay. So Elite Gamer says admiring another person. So yeah, so from other people's choices, right? Yeah, trendsetters. Okay. Shaylee says celebrities, right? Yeah, those are the trendsetters. The weather, yeah, absolutely. If it's raining outside, don't run outside in shorts unless it's tropical rain. Okay, so weather. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the influence of advertising, perhaps as well. Okay. Okay, suggestions, other people, weather, advertising, celebrities, sure. Okay. Yeah, so Muratkan says magazines, movies. Yeah, absolutely. So visual media. Okay, very good. All right, so now we have a clear idea of the topic, right? So the reason that you want to practice this all the time to go through the topic, especially at home, is even though, so, you know, people's choice for clothing, you start thinking about that, sure, you're going to get a lot of ideas, okay? People definitely have knowledge about choosing clothing, right? However, when you go through the steps of what, why, how, your thoughts become a lot clearer and more organized. So this is for old members and new members, this tip, okay? So the reason that you always must go through the steps of what, why, how is in order to get greater clarity and structure in your thoughts around the topic. Does everybody see what I mean by that? So I know that the questions on the IELTS are designed so that most people can have some good ideas about it. And I'm sure that many of you have had lots of experience with this topic of fashion, choosing clothing, why people do it, how you do it. But when you try to kind of think about all of this at once, it can be a little bit jumbled and a little bit confusing. So when you go through the steps, you create a lot of clarity. And that clarity will really help you to structure your essay, to come up with better ideas, and to communicate your ideas in a much more accurate and understandable or comprehensible way. Okay, Nick Hill says, yeah, sir. Everybody else got that? So everybody else sees why that's so important. It's not that we don't have information on this. We have information on this. It's that we want to structure this information and have clarity. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. Okay, so Carolina says, got it. Okay, all right. So that's the strategy here. Okay, so following with that strategy, now we want to do the controlling idea. Okay, so we want to figure out what are the benefits of wearing fashionable clothes, right? So Okay, so what are the benefits of wearing fashionable clothes? So give me some answers for that. What's good about that? Okay. Okay, so Shaylee says we love people's appreciation. Shaylee, you want to make sure that you always simplify your thoughts. Okay, so self-appreciation or praise. Okay, praise I guess would be the easiest. Praise from others. Okay, all right. Sure, that's Shaylee. That's the easier way to say that. Praise from others. Okay, praise from others. Say it, Shaylee. Repeat it. Write it down. Carolina says durable. They look elegant, unique design. Okay, so Carolina, individuality. Okay, quality. Yeah, quality and fashion. I'm not sure if they're always the same, but sure, quality, durable, right? I've seen fashionable clothes that I would argue are not durable, but yeah, okay. Elegant, okay. Okay. There we go, David, very nice. So David says comfortable, confident, social status, recognition. So yeah, recognition. Let's not just say social status. I like, David, how you said recognition because that's more tangible. So recognition and confidence are very good ones. Okay, great. Okay, Shaylee says fit in with the modern world. Yeah, Shaylee, fit in with the modern world. Let's take that and express it a little bit more. Can anybody tell me what, because that's a good point. So Shaylee's making a good point. So fitting in with the modern world or fitting in with groups. How can I say that in 2 words? It starts with an S, the first word, and the second word starts with an A. Can anybody guess what we're talking about here? So fitting in with the crowd or fitting in with the people at work, the colleagues, your group of friends. What's the 2 words here? I don't have the proper letter count, but just the first letters here. Mahi, welcome back. Fernov says social awareness. Not social awareness, Fernovs, but you got the first word. It's social something. Instead of social awareness, it would be social acceptance. Very good, David. Social acceptance. David, my giant thumbs up. You got it. Fantastic. Yeah, social acceptance. Yeah, so being accepted by a group of people. Absolutely. Okay. All right, now we could go through the what, why, how, but I think most of you can now figure that out if you think about the why and the how. Okay. Nice pair of Nike shoes or a beautiful dress by a famous designer. Okay, so sure, by Esprit or something like that. Okay, so good. So now let's just kind of jump to the opposite. And what are the negatives? So what are the negatives of wearing fashionable clothes? Okay, they can be very expensive. Yeah, fashion always costs a premium. Okay, so yeah, there's a fashion cost or a fashion premium. Okay, Carolina says they don't last long, and Shaylee agrees. Yeah. So yeah, they are outdated or they go out of style. Mahi says durability. So interesting. Notice how Mahi says they might not be durable, right? So Okay, Janil says distraction for others who can not afford it. Janil has a good point. So, fashionable clothing creates a distraction for those who are not who cannot afford it. So, how can we say that if we're following with Janil's idea here? Fashion trends create what in society? Okay. That's an interesting point, and I think Janil has a good point there, thinking outside the box. So if we're really focused on fashion, yeah, very good. Rajveer says they can create discrimination. Yeah, judging a book by its cover is the idiom. Is everybody familiar with this idiom? It's a very common one, judging a book by its cover. It means that you judge a person and the way that they think and feel or their personality just simply by looking at their clothes. Okay? Judging a book by its cover. Yeah, absolutely. So discrimination. Okay, good. Now, a question. 250 word IELTS Task 2 essay. You have 40 minutes. Should you write about all of these positives and negatives? So should you include all of this positive and negative information into your essay in the 250 to 300 words in the 40 minutes? So getting praise from others, expressing individuality, buying arguably more durable, elegant clothing, gaining recognition from society, having self-confidence, being socially accepted, as well as the negatives. They go out of style quickly. There's discrimination. There's a premium cost. So is it a good idea to write about all of this or all of these topics in your 250 to 300 words in the 40 minutes? So Janil says, no, maybe just do 2 and 2. 2 positives, 2 negatives, and that's fine. Yeah, Joseph says 2 each sounds good. I agree, Janil. I agree, Joseph. So unless you are a very, very good writer in English and you can write 400 words, there's no way that you should be thinking to include all of these. Okay? So, no. Don't write all of these points. So it's very important. Okay, it's another tip. Okay? Essays that express strong points in good detail or in detail will score higher bands than vague essays which include, many points. Well, vague says that. Okay, vague means lacking detail. Okay, so keep that in mind. So essays that have a couple of really good points where you have a lot of good expression and explanation and examples will score higher than essays that write one sentence for each of these, where the reader's kind of like, okay, I get what you're hinting at, but you haven't really convinced me, or you haven't really explained these points clearly. Okay, so 2 each it's a good idea. Okay, let me just see what you think would be some good ones. Now, make sure that the points are clearly unique. Okay, so praise from others, 1, individuality, 2, quality, durable, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These aren't hint. These aren't completely unique. Okay, all of them. Which 2 would you choose? So for the benefits, which 2 do you think are good choices to include in your thesis statement? Wearing fashionable clothes is good because of individuality and recognition, or which ones would you choose? So Rajveer says 5 and 6. So recognition as 1, confidence as 2. Okay. Bekchan says 2. Yeah, you should choose 2 of them, Bekchan, here. Okay, Shaylee, praise and recognition. Okay, so number 1 and number 5 are equal. Okay, this was kind of a trick question. So number 5 and number 1 are equal, so you would not want to choose both because they're the same. Okay, do you see that, Shaylee? That number 1 and number 5 are actually the same. Okay, praise from others and recognition, that's the same idea, right? So always make sure that your points are clearly unique, otherwise you're just repeating yourself. Okay, Joseph says recognition and confidence is good. Okay, yeah, so recognition and confidence are connected. You gain confidence in part because you're being recognized, okay, but they are unique, all right? Okay, I think you could do individuality as well. Okay, so Bekjun, that could work as well, 2 and 6. Okay, and 5 and 7. So recognition and social acceptance, they're kind of the same as well. Okay, so I agree that 5 and 6 are good. Okay. Lubna, you could do individuality and social acceptance as well. Okay, that could be a choice. So there's more than one way to skin the cat, as they say in English, the idiom. I don't really like that idiom. It's bizarre, but that's what they say. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you could have a couple different combinations, but I think recognition and confidence are good ones. Okay. So and you can connect those nicely, so I think they're good. Okay, let's choose some for negative. So for negatives, we have a couple. So for negatives, we have they're expensive. Okay, very expensive, 1. They get outdated, so you have to keep buying new clothes, it's 2. And discrimination is number 3. Okay, so which ones should we talk about here? So Nick Hill says discrimination and expensive. Yeah, and in fact here, number 1 is kind of, well, let's do it like this. So number 1 is kind of equal to 2, right? One of the reasons that they're very expensive is because they get outdated quickly and you have to keep buying new clothes. Does everybody see that? So they're, of course, more expensive per item, but one of the reasons staying fashionable is really expensive is because you have to keep staying up or keeping up with the latest fashion. So 1 and 2 are somewhat similar. They're not completely unique, right? Okay. They're more alike than confidence and recognition, that's for sure. Okay, so 1 and 3. Okay, so expensive and discrimination. All right. Yeah, and if you think about communist systems in the past where everybody had to wear the same clothes, you kind of get a lot of ideas around that as well, right? So, so here, expensive and discriminatory. Okay, that's the word form, so learn that word form. Expensive, discriminatory, recognition, confidence. Okay, so these are the words. All right, everyone, looking good. Thesis time. Okay, so now you can clearly and accurately create your thesis. Okay, and here I realize that we took nearly 40 minutes to get to this point. This is all the time you have for your whole essay. But of course, in the real exam situation, this planning, this selection of ideas happens very quickly, happens in 3-4 minutes when you know how to go through the correct steps. Okay? So these are the steps that you want to follow. And I can see that some of our students are just pounding out the thesis statements now. So Rajveer says the benefits of putting on trendy attire are confidence and recognition, and its deficits are a high cost and social discrimination. Very nice thesis, Rajveer. Now, Rajveer, even in an essay where you don't include personal opinion, like I, me, my, you should always have it in the order that you believe more. So if you feel that wearing fashionable clothes is at the end of the day better than not. So if the benefits outweigh the deficits, then you'd want to start with the negatives and finish on the positives. Okay, keep that in mind. All right. I don't know if you do, but if that's the case, then you want your thesis to reflect that even when you're writing a third-person voice. Okay, I know that was a bit advanced, but I know some students know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So Ferdov says, wearing elegant clothing is favored by a majority of individuals, and it has benefits like boosting confidence and recognition. However, it has drawbacks such as being expensive and discriminatory. Ferdov's being expensive and discriminatory. Okay. And creating discrimination, yeah, it's okay. So you're going verb, noun, verb, noun. That'll work for Dobbs. Okay. Beckjan says the two main deficits of wearing trendy attire are cost and discrimination, whereas the benefits are confidence and recognition. Yeah, so sure, that works. Okay. So the two main deficits of choosing to wear fashionable clothing are cost and discrimination. However, the benefits are confidence and recognition. Okay, that works. It's simple, it's beautiful. It gives a very clear idea of the direction of the essay, the contents of the essay, and it's concise. Okay, you're stating it in not so many words. There's a lot of information and not a lot of words, and it's very clear. That's always going to be the most powerful thesis statement. Okay, the most powerful thesis statements are those which contain a wealth of information that can be easily understood from a few words. Okay? So that's the trick. Use a few words, say a lot of information, and make it easily understandable. Now that's tricky. That's what takes practice, but hey, that's what gets the band 9. Okay, that's what gets the band 9. All right, so let's get into our introductory paragraph. I can see some other thesis statements coming up, and I think everybody kind of gets it now, so I'm not going to read everybody's thesis statement. I think most of you get what's going on here. Okay, the introduction. Okay, it has 3 parts: hook, background, and thesis. We already have the thesis, so we don't need that. So we need a hook. Okay. The hook is a fact including the topic that catches the reader's attention in 12 words or less. Okay. So I'm just, it's not etched in stone, but I'm giving you this definition for the IELTS, okay? So this is the IELTS hook definition that will get you a high band, all right? So the topic, this is where all of our planning becomes really, really useful, is people's choices of clothing. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So introduce that to your reader right away in the hook and give me a good, factual, interesting thought about that will catch my reader's attention. Okay. So Beckjan says preference of clothing varies from person to person according to many factors. Good. David says deciding what to wear is a tricky issue encountered on a daily basis. I like that, David. That's really good. That will keep me reading. Okay. Ferdov says fashion is insisting on wearing stylish clothing. I like that, Ferdovs. I like that as well. Okay. Joseph says, don't judge a book by its cover. Joseph, I wouldn't do that. So good try, Joseph, but don't start an essay with an idiom. It's quite awkward in most cases, and it's too opinionated. So I don't recommend starting with that. Nick Hill says, choosing the latest attire has become trendy these days. Carolina, can the paraphrase of the topic be the hook in this case? Carolina, that's a good question. Let's take a look at that paraphrase again. So, yes, it can. Carolina, the short answer is in many situations it can. So millions of individuals enjoy clothing themselves in the latest trends. Absolutely. Good eye, Carolina. Yeah, we can just use that. Okay, for the hook. So I can just grab that. You're absolutely right, Carolina. Choose the easy path whenever possible. And in this case, it absolutely is. Millions of individuals enjoy clothing themselves in the latest trends. Sure. Yeah, that works. Okay, and then the background. The background is the definition of key concepts and the importance of the question. Okay, so good essays will tell the reader in the introduction of what exactly you're writing about and why exactly you're writing about it. Okay, so keep that in mind. One more time, right? So a good essay in the introduction will explain to the reader exactly what you're talking about and exactly why it's important, why it's worth talking about that, okay? So that's what you want to do. So what are we actually talking about? What is choosing the latest trends? What does it mean to wear fashionable clothing? Okay, all right. So okay, so this would be my definition. Okay, so many people put in much effort to learn and purchase the most popular clothing styles within a particular time and context in a given society. Okay, this choice of attire has an impact, has a significant impact on each person. Okay, so don't overcomplicate it. All right, that's how I would do it. So why is it an important discussion? Well, because the clothes that we wear, just like the food that we eat, it has a lot of impact. It has great effect on each individual. Okay. Lubna says, since time immemorial, it's one word, Lubna. Since time immemorial, fashion fads have dominated people's choice of clothing. This attitude of individuals has a significant impact on the way societies function. Lubna, that works. Immemorial. Okay, it's one word, right? It's like since the beginning of time, right? Okay, Joseph says, fashion trends shape the way people think and influence each other to keep up with popular trends and culture. Very good, Joseph. Just a little correction to the grammar there. Okay, all right. For Dobbs, people wear clothes to look presentable and impress others by spending their time and energy seeking the latest trends. Very good for Dobbs. Just a little correction on the air, the latest trends instead of the best clothes. Rajveer says, people admire wearing modern clothes that suits their personalities for given occasions. Very good, Rajveer. A little correction at the end as well. Nick Hill, many people invest more time and effort selecting clothes for different occasions. Anytime you have more, Nick Hill, you're comparing to something else. So many people invest significant time and effort when selecting clothes for various occasions. Okay, Nick Hill? All right, and then our thesis. And we have that, so it's an easy finish, right? Thesis statement. Here we go. Beep, beep, there it is. Copy that and just plop it in. And there's our Band 9 introduction. So here it is. Band 9 introduction for this question. Here we go. Let's go back to the question. Always reference your question before you reference your the quality of your introductory paragraph. So task 2 writing, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many people prefer to wear fashionable clothes. Discuss the positives and negatives of this trend. Again, this was the question on the November 10th IELTS exam for many people around the world. So this was a question that you saw. This would be considered a Band 9 introduction for this question. Okay. Millions of individuals enjoy clothing themselves in the latest trends. Many people put in much effort to learn and purchase the most popular clothing styles within a particular time and context in a given society. This choice of attire has a significant impact on each person. The two main deficits of choosing to wear fashionable clothing are cost and discrimination. However, the benefits are confidence and recognition. Really clear direction of the essay, very clear definitions. You're on the right track. Tomorrow, we are going to write the body paragraphs for this. You can get prepared ahead of time. In fact, I recommend thinking about this and preparing ahead of time. For Dobbs, I wouldn't just give one advantage and one drawback. You could, but I think you would make the essay unnecessarily challenging, okay, to go into that kind of detail and expression in the IELTS exam. In university, for Dobbs, you could do that where you have an even much longer essay, like 2,000 words, and you really just focus on, for example, confidence and discrimination, okay? All right? All right, but in the IELTS you don't, it's not university English, okay? So this is plenty enough. You can get a Band 9 certainly with this type of introduction. Okay, members, viewers, this essay we will finish tomorrow, but don't go anywhere because in about 35 minutes I will be back with some listening part 1 and part 2 practice from our practice exams on our websites at aehelp.com, glshelp.com, to get all of our exams, videos, and interactive courses and mobile applications that thousands and thousands of students use every day. You can actually use our greatest discount code of the year, Cyber Day, 40% for Cyber Monday. So Cyber Day gives you a 40% discount. Go to our websites and use that coupon code. That's it for now. Fantastic interaction. Great job, members, in today's class. It was beautiful seeing all of you. Hopefully you hang around for listening part 1 and 2. You're very welcome, Mahi, Nikhil, Rajveer, Janil. See you soon, everyone. I'm Adrian. That's it for now, but I will be back soon. Bye.